Hello guys, and welcome to this next video log. It's been a while since I posted a video log. For various reasons I wasn't able to post a video log, but now I'm back and I'm going to post video logs on a weekly basis again. So hopefully you will not be too much disappointed in the loss for the last past weeks, and will hopefully view this one and keep on viewing the other following ones. It's now the 7th of May at the moment. It's Tuesday. The birds are at this point are being paired. At least the St. Vincent team is now paired. I like to raise the birds on youngsters from 6 to 8 days, so I've done the math. St. Vincent pair basketing is in 5 weeks now. I've paired them yesterday, so normally they will be on youngsters from 6 to 8 days, which is my favorite nesting position. Why? It's quite simple. I've had the most success with that kind of position. Also, St. Vincent has a special place in my heart. Of course, I had the luxury and pleasure of winning the national St. Vincent race of 2016, but also the year before I won the 17th and 26th national the year after. So directly after I moved from Breda to Terheiden, I won the 18th national, and last year in 2018 I won the 8th national. So the streak is very nice. The last 4 years the worst result is starting with the 18th national, and I really hope to continue this wonderful streak. But of course it will be very hard because I'm having a new team at the moment. The team, as far as planned, will consist of 10 birds, and the head bird, I always have a head bird in the team, will be Aurora. It's a wonderful hen that won the 6th national Agen last year, and also is making a great, is impressing me a lot at the moment. She always arrives within the first 10 birds of the Loft in the preliminary training races. So this week I paired up the St. Vincent team. Next week I will pair up the national or international team for Poe. And the week after I will pair up the yearlings, and then all birds will be paired up. At this moment, because I only have one Loft, it's quite messy with the St. Vincent birds that are paired, which are 5 pairs, and the other many cocks that are still on widowhood. So you can imagine that the hens that are paired now will have a lot of time being chased with the other cocks. I know it's not ideal, but I've done it like this since 2015, and it's always worked out fine, so I'm not going to change it at the moment. Like I said, I'm going to pair up in 3 teams. Why? Because we have a national / international race 3 weeks in a row, which has different teams on them, and I always start out my season with birds on the position of 6 to 8 days of youngsters. The Loft now has a small change, so I'm not scraping the floor anymore. I hate scraping floors, but at this moment we have straw at the bottom, a thick layer of pea straw at the moment. I always do this. I've just got the feeling that it improves my Loft a little. It sucks in the warmth during the day and gives it out in the evening, so the temperature differences between night and day will be a little less large, and I think it's a big advantage for the birds. Also, the birds like to play in it. They use it as nesting material, and as soon as the first round of youngsters are at age, they will all go to the floor to have their second round of eggs, and the floor will be filled with hens and cocks that will just be in every corner of the Loft to lay their eggs. And I like it because for me it gives a certain point of view that the birds really are happy in the Loft, and that's something I really need to see, because the birds that are happy in the Loft are more easily to perform, of course, than birds that are not so happy. The birds still already had 3 training races. I love to have to give them some more races, but unfortunately I didn't have the opportunity to do so. I made a bad call 2 weeks ago. At that moment the weather forecasts were very bad, but when I decided not to race them. But when I opened up the curtains the day after, so at racing day, the weather was fairly well, and the birds had a really easy flight going home, which was a flight of 230 kilometers. So the birds now have raced a preliminary training race for 90 kilometers, 190 kilometers, and 230 kilometers, which isn't a lot, and I would have liked to have them given some more, but the upcoming weeks that'll follow, they will race 380, 410, 410 and 410. So everything combined, they will also have approximately 2,000 training kilometers, and which will be enough for racing St. Vincent. The birds are training very well at home at the moment. They are doing 75 minutes, both cocks and hens. From starting this week, I will further progress the training up to 90 minutes, which will also be the final stage in training. They will do 90 minutes until the 1st of June. Starting June, they will train in the morning and in the evening, and I will decrease the evening trainings back to 75 minutes, which will suffice when training in the morning, also an hour. The feed that they are currently getting for this day and also for tomorrow is still the mixture of 50% Koopman, 25% paddy rice and 25% deep pure. Starting Wednesday evening, they will get 100% Koopman all-in-one mixture, because the races are up to 300 kilometers now, and I think they will need the energy to successfully do this without going too much in their reserves. So more food, more training, and hopefully better results. So the weather now is still quite cold for the time of the year. Last week we raced with 9 degrees, which is fairly cold, but like I told you, I didn't have the opportunity to keep them at home anymore. They just needed to go. So the birds arrived within rain and hailstorms, very cold weather, but they did all right. I'm still waiting on one yearling cock, so the team is decreased by 1, but it's still okay. The planning as it's now is unchanged. I thought about changing the planning due to the bad toss at the beginning of the season, but the losses are significantly lower than expected on the first training races. They are 1 to be exact, so I've decided just to keep on with the planning, which will be 10 birds for National St. Vincent, 10 birds for National Po, and the yearlings, of course, to the international flight from Agen. And I will also try 2 birds on International Barcelona, which will be a first from this address. I did International Barcelona one time earlier in 2014, but it was just to try, nothing serious. But this time I'm going to try and win a top prize with one of the 2 birds that I will enter. Of course, these numbers are still planned. It's possible they will decrease, of course, because I still have a hawk over here at the moment. It killed a bird of mine 2 weeks ago. Like I said, I lost one from the training race last Sunday, and hopefully the rest of the birds will stay, and no more losses will occur, and it will all be okay. The young birds at the moment are also doing very well. I've got a team of approximately 80 at the moment. They are flying at home. Most of them are flying. The youngest few are not flying with the rest of the team, but they are just hopping around from rooftop to rooftop and back to the loft. So I will let them be for another week, and then I will start to force them to fly also. And then in a week or 3, 4, I will start tossing the youngsters also. I like to race the youngsters on the young bird races, which will be approximately 10 races from 100 up to 450 kilometers. I've done it for the past 3 years now, and although the losses of the youngsters are a lot more, I can say, the amount of experience that they gain is also a lot more, and you have a lot of advantages with that the year they are yearling. In the past I used to give them the autumn races, which are 7 races from 80 to 300 kilometers. But what I did, I gave them 6 races to 230 kilometers, and the last race I put them on the young birds race of 450 kilometers. They will have a lot more experience that way, but still, when you compare that team as a yearling and the team as a yearling, when you give them all the 10 young bird races, the difference is massive. So that's why I chose to give them young bird races. Started that a couple of years ago, and I will keep on doing them. You can probably see the birds coming back into the loft. The windows are open at the moment. It's bath time, so they have a bath outside the loft, or in the aviaries, where they can take a bath, and when they've done it they go back in the loft. They're not so scared of me, but just when I get into the loft and the windows are open, they most of the times go outside. I'm shutting the windows in the evening right now because for me it's too cold at this time of year, and I want the birds to just keep on growing at the moment. So I'm shutting the windows at the evening, and on the daytime it's not always open, but also not always closed. It's just a feeling. When the weather is okay, I will open it, and when it's rainy or hard wind, I will close them. In the breeding loft I also have a new asset. Her name is Thea. Most of the breeders are named after Greek mythology, so also this one. Just Google it and you will see what Thea is or means in Greek mythology. Why Greek mythology? I just like it. I wanted to have a theme in my breeding loft, and I also been fascinated by Greek mythology. So that's why I decided to name most of the breeders after Greek gods and goddesses and nymphs and muses and titans also. So there's lots of possibility to give a name to a bird, but that is the main game in the breeding loft. So Greek mythology. Well, Thea I purchased on an online auction on Pippa. It was an original from Hugo Batenburg. It's bred from the Special Narbonne, which won the 2nd International Narbonne 2 years ago and was 4th National. Ace Pigeon yearlings also. But what I liked also about this bird is that 3 of her 4 grandparents are International Barcelona winners. So that's the new laureate, the special one, and the Kleine Jade from Jellema, which are all represented in this bird. I've currently paired it up with New Kronos, which is a direct son of the new laureate for 2 rounds. The intention was 1 round, but the first first pair of eggs was not filled, so I've just let them start over again, and hopefully the second round will be better. Furthermore, the breeders will have been set to pair at the same time as the teams of the racers. So I have the opportunity to exchange some youngsters if I want to. For now, this is it, guys. Hopefully it was an informative video log, and see you next time. Hopefully you also have a good season, and see you next week. Bye.